Hello, people. Welcome to our first meeting. Today is 14th March 2021. Um, First of all, sorry for the quality of the video. It's my first experience with Zoom. I hope in the future I'll invest a little bit in the camera or try different applications or tools to improve it. I hope we'll manage for today with what we have. There were some changes in the schedule of the interview and people who are going to join us. The friend who was going to share her experience with COVID was closed in the another quarantine, then lost electricity, so we had some other problems. But another good friend of mine, Sander, who's going to join the first call. And let's please warm welcome him and hear his story, what happened during the past year. I think it's going to be a very nice, interesting conversation with him. And I hope you all will enjoy that. Hey guys, we have the first participant joining the meeting, my good friend Sander Mars. He's on the call already. Thank you very much for joining us, Sander.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All pleasure is mine, mate. I think the best would be is probably if we talk how we met actually, and then you can introduce yourself. What do you think?
Yeah, fair enough.
So basically, with Sander, we met through another good friend of ours who had came up with a very nice idea to create a community during this pandemic time and to bring people together who feel, I would say, a need for connection and meeting others, or the people who are expats or foreigners who came to another country where they don't really have much friends and they can hang out together. We're going to have the talk with that friend. His name is Cristiano next week, and he can share how did he come up with that idea. And then through this platform, I met Sander, and from the first moment I met him, it was really, I could say it was a pleasant meeting, and we felt a connection. I guess I don't know if you can agree with me on that or not.
Yeah, definitely likewise. It was like from the moment we had a good laugh. I think the first time we met during a Brazilian team night.
Yeah,
And we were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
with
If you
three
can
of us.
increase a bit the volume or put microphone a bit closer so I can hear you better, that would
Okay,
be
so
amazing.
this is actually the best I can get, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's good, and I can adjust it accordingly. Cool. So, Sander, please feel free to introduce yourself to the people out there. Probably our friends will be watching that; they know you, and they'll probably make a lot of jokes about that. But for the rest who don't know you, just who is Sander? And by the way, guys, we met in Malta, and we're currently in Malta at the moment. If some of you don't know, it's a beautiful small country in the heart of Mediterranean Sea. We'll talk about Malta's situation here later on, but first let's hear Sander. Who are you, mate?
Okay, I'm Sander. Like as you already said, I'm 26 years old. I moved like 5 months or 6 months ago to Malta for work, and I'm originally from the Netherlands, and um, yeah, that's basically it. I'm a huge football fan, I think, and that's important for me. And yeah,
Which team do you support? I mean, apart
um,
from Netherlands in the World Cups and Euro Cups, like I know you're obsessed with one club. So come on, speak about that.
yeah. It's definitely Ajax, which is I guess the best club in the world. I think most of people
I'm
would
already
agree
expecting
on
some
that.
comments below that. Cool, cool. And what motivated you to move from Netherlands to Malta? And it happened pretty recently, right? When was it? When did you move here?
Yeah. So basically, I moved from Belgium. So I was living before for 2.5 years in Belgium, for study,
Okay.
and then um, Malta was actually a lack of options during COVID because I wanted to go abroad. Doesn't matter if it was working or traveling, but I had the need to go abroad and to um, gain more experience, I guess. And Malta was for me the option because moving outside Europe was almost impossible during COVID or too risky. And then I was like, Malta seems a very good option within Europe, and they also were. It was quite okay with the COVID cases, with the regulations back then, which is now another story. And then I saw a vacancy open for a job. I feel comfortable in doing it, and then I was like, I'm gonna apply. And 6 months later, I'm still here.
Yeah, here you are. You basically moved here in the pretty much after the first wave, we would call that. So you were in Belgium when it's all this craziness, madness started, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was. I haven't become home like from. I think it started February, March. I had some Chinese people in my class who were already in lockdown for 2 months in January
Uh-huh.
and in February. So for me, I feel like the anxiety for COVID already started in
Uh-huh.
January, or beginning February, and then I the first time I think I came home was in August. So
Oh wow. For me, it also was a bit funny story. So because I mentioned it during the announcement today, and I feel like sort of obliged to talk about that. So, guys, basically, we met with Sandra just a few hours ago. We're having a nice stroll around the island. We start touching the base of this conversation of tonight, but due to the strong wind which came out all of a sudden, and the mask cases, we couldn't film outside, so we decided to do this Zoom meeting, which is for me, it's like something new because I like meeting people in person, but that's a reality we live at the moment. And with some friends, we're actually meeting like online. The other event we had, we'll talk about later. So it was, for me, what happened is actually when Corona started in China, it was sometime November, December. I was just finishing my master's and I said, okay, now I finished that one. I have my remote job. I'm going to keep on traveling around Europe and the world, experience new places. And I went to Berlin. It was end of January. Then I had some business trips here and there. I went to Russia, I went to Switzerland, then I went to UK. And actually, it was 14th of March, like exactly a year from today, before last year. I came to the airport in London. I was flying from London to Berlin. The moment I arrived to the airport in London, I said, like, my gosh, how crazy it is. It was so empty. And that moment when the Europe was hit with COVID, mainly Italy and Spain, the only thing I could see on the screens, canceled, 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 canceled. I'm like, oh gosh, is it just the flights to Spain canceled or everything? I was start asking people, is it like normal? Like just only because Spanish flights they canceled? They told me no, there a lot of them canceled. And it was my fastest experience at airport ever. I can't complain about that. That was really like, oh, it's so cool. I had free time to drink my coffee and enjoy some movies on laptop. And I went to Berlin. I couldn't recognize the city the months after I returned. I'm like, it's absolutely different things. The metro was empty from the airport to the city center. I was alone. The moment it came to my mind, the movie I'm Legend. If I'm sure you have seen that with Will Smith, an amazing movie, which people start comparing with the lockdown situation we have. And that was like actually creating some sort of anxiety and stress. And yeah, for me, like we got hit like pretty much in Europe, like March. And this time you were in Belgium, right?
yeah.
And then you stayed all this time in Belgium, and then moved to Holland in summer.
Um, yeah, I think I was moving in August for a few weeks only to the Netherlands, and then in September I tried to travel, as that was like also a kind of experience because my phone bill increased a lot because I was so much calling with embassies, always checking. I had literally 2 flights which I didn't catch because um, yeah, because I tried to travel cheap, so I didn't buy insurance via Ryanair. So I literally throw them away because the regulation changed. Um, so I went from Belgium, 2 weeks Netherlands, one I think 3 weeks traveling, and then I went to Malta. So
Okay,
I haven't seen the Netherlands much during lockdown or during COVID times.
all right. So I think the how I understand the biggest stressful part was the very beginning of the situation in Europe. So when you were in Belgium, like far away from your family, and you have some friends down there. So maybe you'd like to talk about this time, let's say the first lockdown which we actually experienced, because for me it was shocking. I didn't know what's going to happen. What am I going to do? Well, in my case, I came to 14th of March to Berlin, and in fact, I was going to fly back in April, a couple of other places, and then go to Azerbaijan to see family. And I got to know Malta's closing airport on 17th of March. So I had 3 days to like either go to Malta or I fly to Azerbaijan because that one is going to close as well. And then I like, okay, I don't not gonna do anything. It's good where I am and I stay there. So what happened in your case? Did you have any choice? Like, or were you like thinking, okay, I'm here, I have to be here, what I'm going to do? And how were
So
those months, those few months you were staying there? Like the very
so
first part.
yeah. I will say I lived in Ghent, which is a very university city. So many students, and everybody went home. And I had the decision: shall I go home, or shall I stay in Belgium? But my mom was sick during that time, and we kind of agreed that it will be too dangerous for me going to back to the Netherlands. And I still also had my rent in Belgium. I didn't want to double rent something in Netherlands, so we kind of agreed it will be more safe. We didn't know there was a danger in the beginning. We didn't know how dangerous uh, that COVID will be. We were like, um, yeah, we didn't know what the long-term effects will be, what
Yeah,
infection rate
all,
is.
all the madness was about like we didn't know like
Yeah,
what how to react, and you're the first thing comes to your mind is like let you have to care of the people you love, and it's like shall I move there, shall I come here, can I be close to them, shouldn't I be there? There was so much crazy stories going about it, and the toilet papers are running out in the shops.
yeah, that was crazy. I didn't get that hype. Like everybody was buying toilet papers, and then I saw some videos of the storage of the magazines of the toilet paper, and there was still a lot. There was like one of the I don't know by out of nowhere or why everybody decided to buy toilet paper. I think because you can stack them. So people thought, okay, we need to do something crazy. We can't stack food, fresh food. So let's just make sure that we always have toilet paper.
I think they added diarrhea on the list of the symptoms to COVID just because to make people to buy more toilet paper. I don't know. It drives the
That
people
will be
mad.
the best marketing stunt though. Like just like toilet paper company said, like diarrhea will be one of the strongest ones. I think it's still a symptom, right? But it's like a
Yeah, yeah,
strong.
it is in fact. So every time you eat something, you're like, oh shit, am I COVID or I have just normal condition.
Yeah, and for me, like in these places, the Mediterranean, they use more olive oil than in the Netherlands, and for example, so my stomach hurts more than often than before.
So keep on testing, keep on testing.
Yeah. I don't know how many times you did the test. I think I'm now seven, 8 times or something.
Oh, you definitely did more than I did. I think I have got my nose drilled twice, and I said that it's that's enough. And hopefully, I shall be catching a flight in 2 weeks' time, the first flight since July, and I'll get to this experience again. So fingers crossed.
But
There.
then you have to do double testing, like
I don't know yet. I'll see. It's like I don't plan. I had some friends who were traveling during the COVID time. I didn't risk. I said like it's too much hassle like doing testing and be having the risk of getting locked somewhere. I can be adventurous, but not so much. And I think that's the reason also you decided not to be adventurous at the very beginning and stayed in one place. And you were mentioning something earlier when we were out there that there are some um, let's say interesting moments when you were experienced when you were out there in Belgium, and is there something you can share with us on that moment, like how what you were doing on your daily basis, like just staying at home and speaking to people via videos, or still
um.
going out and walking, or how you were handling that moment?
So I was actually finishing my thesis.
Okay.
So I mostly focused on writing my dissertation, and and also I had some exams where I could focus on. So that was my main focus. Literally, everybody left my city. So
Wow.
um, I had like one friend where I was before COVID not super close with. But during COVID, we were like one of the only ones who were staying. So we went for a walk. Um, we were not allowed to go for a walk,
Hmm.
but we were allowed to go for a walk if we had a shopping bag. So
Okay,
what we
so
did, we had like a shopping bag, and then we went for a walk, and then we were faking that we were going to the supermarket. Sometimes we went together to the supermarket, but that was literally 2 3 times per week.
mhm.
So I think I didn't see, like I had like, I think 2 or 3 hours per week I had like personal contact. And we also, I don't know if it was also popular in um, Germany, but in the Netherlands and Belgium it was very popular, the application House Party,
Hmm.
and there you can meet friends and also play games. We did drinking games via Zoom, via
Yeah, yeah.
just innovative. Yeah, but mostly I was just trying to write my dissertation, and yeah, so I
That,
had something to do, and maybe the COVID was actually good for me because it helped me creating more time to focus on.
yeah, it's like you could divert your focus. I know. Um, in some cases, some of my friends they were really thankful because they start really appreciating the time being with themselves and trying to direct their focus to the thing that which they had to do. For that time, I had a lot of things in my mind to actually to do with that free time which I'm getting by being at home, not going out. But at the end, I was super lazy. Instead, I didn't do anything. Just mainly
I saw
was
I saw people picking up like new art and shit, like, and I was like, pe- uh, people were out of nowhere the most creative.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I was not one of them. Like, I didn't pick up any new hobby. Maybe a shit. I don't know if you did. Like,
I was trying to learn some programming and just looking at it, I said, no, that's not for me. I just spent some time with exploring some e-commerce platforms to sell some products, which was interesting experience. They drive me nuts at the end. Just mainly focusing on work. We had some some business project which we're dealing with, and yeah, continuing the sports because having the lockdown is like closing the gyms and everything. And from 2019, I had my focus like, okay, I need to dedicate certain amount of days per week on the training to keep the you know the healthy body is a healthy mind. And then shifting my training exercise is something different. Coming to how it was in Germany, I can't really say because I was in Berlin, and I know Berlin was totally different from any other parts of Germany out there. Because I was speaking to my friends in Munich, in Frankfurt, they were really, really strict down there. And in Berlin, we're pretty fine. I mean, the first 1 week was a panic time, really, like no one was going out when they said like, "Oh, children are not getting affected." My God, all these families with children, they were out there and there was bicycles hitting you on the road. Like they closed the schools and all the families out there in the parks. And the moment the weather is getting better, that's it. You're done, man. So it's like it was not too bad in the very beginning. I know now they have more stricter situations. So, but they're handling. I think they're quite okay there.
okay, and I think for you, you're now going like home, right, to Azerbaijan.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully.
how was it with the contact with your family during COVID?
For me, it was let's say I have been living abroad for more than 10 years now, and it was always like we speaking via WhatsApp or Skype calls. So nothing really much changed there. But I used to travel every year home, and last year was the time when I planned I will go for a longer time so I can spend some more, this valuable, important time with your family. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. First of all, they closed the airports. There was no opportunities. Now, then they opened. There were strict restrictions, like on the time you can spend outside. And you know me, I'm quite a social person, and I like to be out and like meeting people. So I said, okay, I'm not going. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. And now it seems okayish until they close up again. So I will use the opportunity to go. And what about you? I mean, you spent only 2 weeks there, and then you decided you found a job, and then you came here, right? Or you
Yeah.
came here, and then so you found a job, and you said, okay, I'm gonna move here there. and that was because there were not much strict situation in Malta, and the COVID condition was fine, and it was sea and sun and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. Mostly my motivation was just I wanted to. It looks like a very cool island besides the COVID regulations. It was more after I was finding out, like, and I heard some good stories about living in Malta. Then I checked also the COVID regulations, and I was like, "Oh, this is very chill to be in." And and then and and it was also the weather is for me like amazing even now, and all these things together was yeah was like all combined was the reason why I came here.
Just to put people in perspective there, guys, I know Sander pretty much from the first days you came here, right? The day we met, it was like the first 2 3 days you just arrived, right? So sometime in March. So I saw him in a t-shirt, which is normal. Like it's hot, it's summer, all everyone's working t-shirt. And guys, when it was cold, we were freezing. We were walking with jacket. This guy's still walking with t-shirt. And like I don't know what his skin made of, but anytime we see him, his t-shirt, this guy is really not feeling cold. And we usually hear don't swim in winter. Just do the swimming. Night, morning, 15 degrees seawater, probably it's even less. This guy is swimming. It's like, oh, it's nice, it's okay.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It wakes you up. It sobers you down. I don't know why not more people are doing it, but I enjoying it. I will still keep enjoying it. Probably this summer I will be sweating much more than
Yeah.
average people. So that's the downside, but for the summers I'm fine.
Is just friend Svetlana who had to join our call. She just texted back that her electricity and Wi-Fi is just glitching badly, so she apologized that she couldn't join the call today. I'll try to arrange her call next time, and I'll speak to her as well. And Sander, you're more than welcome to join that call as well. So
Okay.
yeah, but now I want to hear that time when you came here after, and it seems like the life is good here. You're enjoying your moment. You're in place. And how you were spending that the rest of the time. So we passed the first wave, which was like being alone out there doing your dissertation, meeting some friends, and being afraid going to go home to see the family because you don't know how it will affect them. So you finally did that for two weeks. You saw your parents, your relatives, and then you moved here. So how was your life since then out here in
Oh,
Malta?
pretty like since I moved to Malta, like I can't complain about anything. Um, we were like one of the countries in which had like the least regulations, and we had them
I would
days
say
ago.
least strict regulations. I'm sorry for interrupting you because I don't want people to think that there's no regulation, guys. There are, but I would say least strict regulations at that moment.
Yeah, yeah. Right now, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For example, I think from since I was here, bars were. I think most of the time bars were the clubs were always closed. We always had to wear a face mask on the streets. And at a certain time or a certain point, they were first limiting the time of the bars and restaurants until 11 p.m. And now everything is closed, including all the non-essential shops. Um, but it's more in perspective with the other countries. So we still had the COVID regulations, but yeah. To answer your question, I moved here. I actually gained pretty quick, like amazingly quick, friends. I think most people will know me as a social person. However, in the beginning, when I moved to Belgium, I struggled so much with gaining friends. I think I was for the first half years, I was only sitting alone um, when during lectures, and I didn't have much. So for that, in comparison with that, I was so surprised how easy I made friends here. My job, I can't complain at all for my job. My colleagues are pretty chill, even though I mostly talk with. I joined a new company during COVID, which is also strange. Um, but right now, most of them are already met in person, so that's good. And yeah, and overall, I'm happy that I made this move, and I think like everything fell on the right place when.
Yeah. And the situation is like not being able to meet people and make friends. Is it like was coming from you, or just in Belgium it was harder than Malta, or is just after the COVID started and you realized that being alone or being by yourself is not so cool. You need to socialize. You decide, okay, I need to be a social guy now, because I hear some people were telling me like it's so hard for me to make friends. I can't go out. I can't meet people, or I can't talk to people, or I don't want to talk to people, and yet they complain that they're feeling lonely or they're feeling alone.
Okay. Well, to answer that question, I think I'm also developed as a person.
Okay.
In terms of I give less a fuck what people think about myself.
Oh, that's
Well,
cool.
um, so for that reason, I'm easier um, just talking with people. And but the other thing is, I joined like a I joined like a new. Basically, I joined study in their third year of bachelor, and they were all already friends with each other.
Hmm.
And so I came as a new guy. I
Okay.
had like one other guy who also came as a new guy, and we gained like friends, but we were like not really friends, just by
You didn't have option. Basically, you were two
yeah, yeah,
outsiders. You
yeah,
didn't have another option that you had to hang out together. It's like,
yeah. And then the vision that most Flemish people have from the Netherlands, especially because I studied in like um, the how could I say that, more the western part of it's like East Flanders, and it's not they already have like a bad um, attitude towards Dutch people. That's how I felt it, and I think because of that, I also get the feeling like screw them if they don't like me because I'm Dutch. I don't want to be friends with them,
yeah,
and
but
I
it
think
can be like stereotyping one side and stereotyping another side. So sometimes we have
yeah, yeah, yeah.
some idea, and we became the reflection of our own opinion as well, our own idea about other people having idea about us. If I manage to explain what I mean.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. At a certain point, I noticed that I thought they were the problem, but I was more the problem, because I created this kind of image in my head that Belgian people didn't want to be friends with them, so I didn't. I think like, but at a certain point, um, after 2.5 years, I have literally like people in Belgium which I can call like very close friends.
Yeah,
So
I guess even here, like you have several quite good and close friends, like we're from Belgium, right? Then you get some like attachments. I mean, feeling close to their culture, to the country, right?
yeah, yeah, and
And today, guys, just to let you know, he was trying to sell me fries for 10 euros, like Belgian fries for 10 euros.
we have to make profit. No, 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 no. It's more than only fries, but we
Yeah, yeah,
will.
yeah. It's I'm
I
just
will. Yeah, like
pulling your leg, man, pulling your leg. It's fine.
it's fine.
Yeah, and I'm a salesman here, right? Just to let you know, guys, Sandro is like super smart guy. He is, I would call them one of those internet geeks, and he is. Tell me about your work. Tell what you're doing, because he's doing great stuff there, and I think during these times you help number of people and businesses to achieve their goals in different areas, right?
I did it mostly before. By I won't say that I'm like uh, already like an internet geek of good in my job, because I think like I'm 26, so it's stupid to think that I'm can be called like an expert. But I did like in the past. I try to help startups with their digital marketing, and now since I did before did like conversion optimization, and since this year my new job is like more related to SEO, which is search engine optimization. and yeah, basically, uh, I will be, I think I will be hopefully called an expert in 10 years because there's
Yeah,
so much
you
stuff to
you
learn.
hit you're hitting there. I mean, thanks to Sander, he spent some time with me just to give some idea of basics of SEO and what people have to do step by step, which was very helpful. And probably we'll come back to that because I will need your help again. And because all the idea of these meetings is to allow people to talk about their experience themselves, their life during the lockdown, and their professional experience and project they came up during this time, before or after. It doesn't matter. Um, and I met really incredible amount of creative people who are doing like various things, and I would love them to share their skills with others and to offer their services to others as well. And if this platform can allow you and others to find you, I will be super happy for that. So
That's very awesome. Yeah, I noticed it's also in Malta. There are so many people who you have so many young freelancers who just um, we just found this like as their spot where they're gonna work. So the amount of people I learned or like I met here
yeah.
who were like quite already achieved a lot for their age. It was incredible. I'm thinking like I meet people who are younger than me, and then I see what they have achieved, and I think, what the fuck were I doing? And
I started sometimes feeling the same when I see some people like they did like incredible thing. And what were I doing like all these years? But to be honest, for myself, I learned how to be inspired by them. I really love meeting those people. And in what I spent like first 5 months of the lockdown in Germany, mainly in Berlin, and I met a lot of people from different fields. They create actually a hub to attract these digital nomads, let's say, and a lot of freelancers in different areas. And it's really cool being among them because you start you get inspired yourself, and you can learn something from them, and you can actually give them ideas, and then they can use those ideas, which is fantastic. And to be honest with you, I believe you did quite a lot for your age, for your time, and there's always the sky's the limit, and even you can go even higher. And being humble is fantastic, and I'm sure you'll be expert not in 10 years, but even shorter time, because Sander is not only good in his area as well, but he's very knowledgeable in terms of the history and culture of people around. He's always showing the interest towards various topics. What struck me the most when we first met, whatever topic I was picking up, he knew already anything from that, at least something. And then if he doesn't know, like, let me Google that, I'll find that
which is
out.
also a way of doing sales, just mimicking the conversation, and then you will be more likable. Um,
Yeah.
and no, but for me that's also likewise. I think that today we can just talk for 2 hours or 3 hours uh, about like various things and inspiring each other. I think that's also like what is kind of the um, like the base of our friendship. We can just talk and that's and enjoying the moments, or it's also awesome.
Yeah, my idea was actually meeting and having some beers to talk and talking about it, but unfortunately, I was unable to arrange it today. So for the next meetings, or probably when I come back, we'll do it again, and even without recording. So
Yeah,
that would
yeah,
be a cool time.
definitely.
And coming from emotional perspective, if you put this 1 year, it's like pretty much, I would say, exactly a year since European countries went to partial lockdown restriction, and so on. Which stages did you pass through? If you can share with us, or if you can name just few stages which you were having, and at what stage are you at the moment?
At the moment, I'm in peace.
Okay.
So I'm happy, everything. I also had moments during the lockdown that I was literally uh, calling my sis, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So emotionally broken. Like I think I mentioned before that my mom was sick.
Yeah.
So one thing which was actually quite uh, problematic for me in the beginning. My mom was sick. She was in December, so before COVID. They um, they found cancer in her body, but
Oh,
it was the second time. So she started her chemotherapy in February,
wow.
and until June, July.
How is
So
she now? Is it like any
um,
better? Hopefully.
yeah, it's incredible because they said we're gonna do it, but we actually think that the chemo is not gonna be effective.
Hmm.
But right now it's like so surprisingly effective, and she's doing tests and she keeps being more healthy and healthy. So
That's very good to hear. I wish her all the best and to wish her a swift recovery. Even so, it's really tough. I have some family members passing through tough times, and this is something that you have to be a warrior. You have to fight against that, and I wish her strength with that, and I wish her good health and getting better soon, hopefully.
yeah, thank you. I think I haven't mentioned this before to you.
No,
Um, so it's also something I don't want to talk about much because not because I want to forget it, but I feel like um,
it's more
it's
of a
not something.
personal, right? It's like something you want to keep to yourself, maybe, and like.
Yeah, I don't feel the necessity for telling
Mhm,
it directly, and then I will tell it or when I need it by myself, or when I feel that the other one needed to hear it. So probably, but to come back, that was for me very terrible during the
mhm,
COVID because I I experienced the first chemo session, and I saw how my mom was like battling with it. And then from that moment, I could not visit my mom anymore. So then COVID happened, and um, I could not visit her. So uh, I only could hear from my father if she's doing well or not. But at a certain point, I know my father. He's like very awesome man and very protective. So I know them when my mom was not doing very well. My father will still lie to make sure that I could focus on my study and not be worried too much.
mhm.
So because I know this knowledge, I was like, yeah, not like how could I say, not be 100% sure she was doing fine. Yeah, and for me, there was also like very emotional, challenging to know
It
that
is indeed very hard. Yeah.
yeah, and I think many people have this with the COVID lockdown experience the same. That imagine the people who lost like their parents, their friends, or whatever, or because of COVID, or because of whatever the disease was, and then not
Mhm,
being able to go to funerals, or to go to see their mother on the last few days from her like existence on Earth. So and I think that's like one thing with COVID uh, also brought for me that I could not see how my mom was doing. So um, yeah, and then it was hard for as well me as my sister and my brother. But we have a good family, so we all supported each other and make like Zoom calls to see my mom when she was more fit in the fitter periods of the sessions. So yeah, at that moment it was hard. Right now I'm looking very happy back, mostly because it was all not for something. So she's now quite good. Hopefully the life expectancy um, will be as long as possible, and then yeah, so
hoping so too. I mean, yeah, man, it's not an easy moment. Yeah, I can feel your this moment of emotional draining, emotional heaviness, and especially when then you're being locked in a place and you have to be with yourself, with your own thoughts, and thinking of your family, which I mean, it's not can be. It's definitely very tough, and I guess not only for you, but for other family members of yours too. And it takes a lot of emotional energy to stand there, to live up to that moment, and just a lot of belief. And it's very good when you have a very strong family connection and unity, and you support each other. So I think that's very much needed. People need support from each other.
Yeah,
Such
yeah, that's
moments.
what I think is underrated. At least for me, was underrated.
Hmm.
Um, my sister was, I think, the person who kind of got me through it. So she was strong. She was mentally stronger than I think everyone else from the family. So she was helping make sure that I was okay, make sure that everyone was okay. So um, and I think, yeah, like everybody needs at least someone to help you out with this kind of things.
Yeah, that's true. That's very important. I mean, we need to help each other, not only in a family, even in a friendship, and even sometimes you meet someone else on the street. Is like that's what makes us human. That makes us people. The social bind, social connection, emotional connection, mental connection, and being in a position to assist each other, and also being in a position like you now talking about that the moment you pass through, because the whole idea for example this forum, this social club I created, is we can talk about various things, the good and bad and hard and easy times of our life, and we can show out there in the people out there, like, listen guys, you're not alone. If you're having hard time, we also have hard time, and let's help each other. Let's see how you can get out from this moment, or if you're having a good time or good ideas, share it with us and let others do the same thing, and at least or similar thing they can get out. So yeah, and thank you very much. I didn't know that. I know you for a few months and we never talked
I know,
about that. And
I knew was a when I want was when I want of gonna say that I was like, okay, should I like warn him or, and then I was like, no, I will just see like his natural response. Um, yeah, to come back, like I think for that's why I said like when I saw you creating this platform, I'm not sure if it already exists, but I think it's so underrated to check what does the lockdown do for young people and maybe even older people for their mental state, for their development. Um, yeah, and I really like, I'm really like excited to see what kind of guests you're gonna bring, what kind of stories you're gonna share. Um, I know you're like you will always be like, it's very easy to talk with you. So
thank you. It's my
I
pleasure. I love talking to you guys. I mean, you're awesome.
so yeah, I'm looking forward to what's gonna be next.
Thank you very much. And all this was all idea. Like we actually had this talk with you and Greg and the car about psychological impact of COVID. And I'm sure there are already some studies going out and some research is going in, but I want to go to the scientific side. I want to go actually into the human side. I'm not psychotherapist myself or psychologist. I'm just normal human and who would like to be heard. And I want to give a chance to others to be heard as well. And even if sometimes no one listens to you, for example, I know some people, they just need someone just to listen to them. They just want to talk to, and I really appreciate you taking the time to join the call and sharing the most like heartfelt and the things which are close to you. This really takes, like, let's say, the value to the idea which I have come up, and your contribution is great. You're my first guest here, and that's you're number one.
Yes, I
Well
feel
done,
very
and I
honored to
really
be added.
enjoyed this time having a chat with you. And sorry for taking it so long, because I said it's going to be 20-40 minutes, but I think we're already reaching an hour.
I'm used to like, if you and me talking, we can talk like for hours. So I was expecting this already.
Cool. And if imagine if we'll be like 2-3, this call would continue like for 5 hours.
There could be actually an idea that you just have like a marathon of podcast.
Yeah, that's actually it. the thing is, I want to have this videos or this audios which I'm gonna take them out is running out there, and people who has like free time at the moment. A lot of us have like more free time than usual, and they can listen. They can just put it at their background and feel like they're in our circle, the circle of friends. So this is social club, the club of friends, which is joining up there and talking about themselves, about others, about the life, about ideas and things, and yeah, because we're all past, and this year was very intense, and with many things for many of us going from one extreme to another one. And yeah, there was like a big mixture, I would say, of various emotional conditions and situations, and where we get at the moment. And we I would say, like you mentioned very well, relaxed. So that's important to reach that stage. So,
Yeah,
and I hope we can stay relaxed, and in a very short time we can forget the word COVID and what is pandemic as well. The most importantly, we'll forget what is the lockdown. We'll be free out there. It's hard to imagine, man. I'm watching the movies, I see people without mask, I freak out. How the hell they walk without mask?
I have the same. I feel uncomfortable if I see like videos from 3, 4 years ago that people like very like festival
Yeah,
videos. I feel
yeah, yeah.
uncomfortable with that. I'm like, what's this? So
How is it
one
possible?
one thing what I also want, and but that's something else. I hope that we gonna learn and be ready for the next, like the virus. Like there's probably gonna be more viruses, so there's also. I'm not talking about that the government should be ready. I'm talking about that we should be personal also ready, that we can be in a lockdown for 5 years maybe, like
Yeah,
in
you never know.
for the
You
next
never know.
virus.
And I think the most important thing is, in my humble opinion, if you would allow it, is like the appreciation of the life we have, and really being thankful for what we have, where we are, and loving ourselves, and actually appreciating the fact that we can be healthy, or we are healthy. And what I really, really enjoyed this time, like, okay, apart from the things I really hated, that I've met a lot of people. I saw a lot of things on the news, how people were actually supporting each other, which was for me amazing. That it brings you back to the belief in humanity, which is was the time was all the things happening around with this horrible news to dump on us. We start forgetting about that, and I start really hating mass media after that, reading all the news with horrible things. There are actually amazing things happening. There are actually people who are helping people. There are people who are helping animals, and whatever they can help, they do, which is fantastic in my opinion. And then we need more people like that.
Yeah, yeah. When you said this, I keep thinking about a book that my mom is recommending me for,
Okay,
I think 2 years now. It's called a Humankind, a Hopeful History, and it's
humankind.
like he's quite known. It's like Rutger Bregman, uh,
Okay,
but he's actually saying like we all think that we all say that uh, that human being on its own they are like bad people, like we are bad, like a um, but what that book is actually saying, we the inner self of humans are actually good,
yeah.
and we should focus on that. And I think what you said, these COVID times, so many people help each other. um, I think we could maybe help each other more, but at
But
it all.
it's like we focus on the positive things. We think positive, and then we focus on the good news. Then it's like we can enrich our lives, and we enrich our life of each other as well. And everything starts with the belief. I mean, there was a person who believed that he can fly, and then they
Yeah,
invented airplane, you know. And then if you believe that humanity is good, people can be good to each other, humanity will be back there, and people will be helping each other actually, and we're gonna get to the better world. um, I think with this note we can wrap up our recording.
yeah, definitely.
And
Again, I think we kind of like 10 minutes ago already repeat myself. Thanks for having me, and looking forward what you're gonna do with the rest of the platform.
thank you very much, Sander. Thank you, everyone. This was the first episode of the When the World Has Stopped. Today with us was Sander Mars, a good friend of mine and just an amazing person who has shared his experience during the past year. his life in lockdown and his current life as well. And thank you very much, Sander, for being with us. Thank you for sharing your your feelings, your emotions, and actually bringing your personality to that podcast, to that social club. Thank you very much for that. And take care, stay safe, and you guys as well. Take care, stay safe, like us, follow us, subscribe on YouTube channel when the world has stopped, and follow us on Facebook. Soon we'll be on Instagram as well. And goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.